All right, this is No Excuses with Michael DiLeonardo. I'm your host, RJ Roger. Michael, how you doing?
Very good. Said my name very well today. Get an
Thank
A.
you, Michael. I've been practicing it. I want to talk with you about Frank Cali. I know you knew Frank. Um, so Frank Cali, highly respected in the Gambino family, held a high rank within the Gambino family. What we know for sure is that Frank Cali was killed in front of his family. I believe his wife and his children were there when he was killed. Um, I read an article where you were on record as to saying, I've never heard of Frank. I've never heard of Frankie ever having a fist fight, let alone killing anybody. There was a powerful guy in Sicily who was picked up as to saying, he's our friend. He's everything over there. And that's all the way in Sicily. So, by all measurable standards, it is believed that Frank Cali was a respected guy in that family. People loved him in that family. That's what the belief is. Now, after he was killed, the Gambino family launches an internal investigation to figure out what happened here. Um, it is believed that Andy Campos, his crew, was trying to look into what happened. Um, so, a man by the name of Vincent Viorie gets on the phone with another member of Campos's crew, and they were talking about the death of Kelly. But one of the things that was said on that call was by Vincent Viorie. Frank Cali's death was a good thing because Andrew will gain more power. Um, to me, that's an ugly thing to say. Your supposed brother um, from that life was just killed in a horrific way in front of his family. So here's my question to you. If people like this are supposed to be your brother, what would make anybody loyal to that life, loyal to these people? Wouldn't it be a lot easier for someone to say, I'm loyal to people like this? Why not just turn on these people?
Well, this is pretty upsetting to hear that. I read an article about that back when this happened. One of the pinches, and I thought he was talking to his ex-wife. I don't know. It was another friend on the phone. Either way, Frank. Let me preface this. Frank Cali was a prince of princes. He was a good man, family man. He's a good friend of mine. I know Frank when he was younger. I helped him move up. Whatever position he attained, I don't know because I wasn't there. But as a person, the guy was a great guy. He didn't have a greedy bone in his body. He helped everybody. This was a travesty for his family, his blood family, his in-law family, his wife, his children. It was disgusting why and how it happened. Now, if you take this guy for saying this, and even the guy he's talking to have the balls to gloat over knowing this situation, how, never mind him being murdered, where and how he was murdered, he's gloating over that. It's despicable. These things that you hear today are being caught on tape. They've been said over time. John Gotti gets arrested, people pop champagne. Son ain't gonna like to hear that. I already told him that once before. Not everybody cried. People die in the street. Not everybody cries. Some gloat, but it's not caught on tape like that. These are the true emotions of those people who just want to wear a suit and walk around with bragging rights. This guy has no right anywhere near that life. If I was in charge right now, he says he's moving up. Maybe years ago, he'd be moving down to a little apartment somewhere in Staten Island. Only because I love Frankie that much. In situation right now, if he's not trying to find Lewis and Clark's expedition trail, on the other side of Missouri, he should be told, you go to the other side of Missouri with your friend there and don't ever come back. That would be my punishment to him today. This is disgusting that somebody would gloat of another human being, supposedly friend and brother of his, that was murdered in front of his family. I'm mortified and horrified over it.
When I sent you the article, again, you grew up, I mean, you were around these kind of people your whole life. I wasn't.
These kind of people?
Well, what I mean by that is,
yes,
you know what I mean.
Working on you a little bit because you're too serious right now. Go ahead.
No, I guess I mean just people from that life. You know, you go. I'm an outsider completely, so.
Well, RJ, do you really have to be an outsider to feel the pain? Of anybody? You don't even have to know the people. You read the Daily News, you read the New York Post, you read articles from all over the world, and you see despicable things happen and the way people react to them. Like a guy that's suicidal, standing on the ledge, and everybody's yelling, "Jump!" This is tantamount to that, also. Yeah. Maybe somebody else got to get killed. Maybe they move up even faster in that life. Is that what that is?
Well, that's why I guess I'm asking you: were you completely shocked when you heard that somebody would say this, or in a way, are you not that surprised that somebody would say that?
No, look, this life became opportunist, like everything else. Like I alluded to with John Gotti going to jail. When Sammy flipped, there was a vacuum. A lot of people moved up, including me. When I flipped, there was another huge vacuum. Sure, a lot of people were happy to get me off the street to create that vacuum, and the damage that was done with the trials and guys pleading out because of my cooperation. Other people moved up. This punk is one of them. I like to give him my address. Really, it's really terrible.
Yeah.
You know, that is terrible to even hear that. So people like this, they do exist. They have existed for a long time. Just that instead of him saying it with words, they plotted and killed guys on the sneak over the years. I'm talking about not a couple of years. I'm talking about forever. It's a despicable part of reality of that life that people think like that. Just that really what bothers me the most is where and how he was murdered, Frank. You don't have the compassion to hold that off, to even, I ain't saying cry, maybe he didn't love him, but to feel that pain of that family. I was close with his in-laws, and it hurt me. It hurt me that his bum had to say something like that.
You know, that completely goes against the belief of like this. It's a brotherhood. It's an honored society. It's men of honor and all these, long taught things. So I guess I'm just curious as to what percentage of people do you think in Cosa Nostra really believe in like this brotherhood, that my brother was just killed, and they really feel that way, and they really feel like it? Do you think that's the majority, or is that the minority of people who would feel the way you feel right now, that you wouldn't feel like I'm going to gain more power because my brother was just killed? You think that's most people in that life, or would you say it's probably more people who think like Vincent Viorie than not?
Well, it's cosa mio now. Not ours. It's their thing. So there's a lot of guys, which I called years ago, that free agent cards. They thought they could act independently until they got caught doing things. But to answer your question, there's definitely more people that don't care. They don't care for those protocols. That without a doubt. Not because I'm sitting on this side of the fence. It was there. It's just that it's more egregious now, and you see the way it's bleeding out through all the surveillance with the FBI and cooperators, and you hear how people's inner feelings are. So that love, that strong battle. Why do you think it leaves a door open for me? Why do you think years ago They intermarried families. Why do you think they made them marry first, second, and third cousins? Not to get some goats on a farm. They did it for this life, like royalty did it with the Spanish, the French, and the English at times in another country years ago. Consolidate power and protect yourself, insulate. The Gambinos, Lucchese's, the Castellanas, you keep going. Those people did those marriages, those arrangements were called machada, I believe. Hopefully the Sicilians let me off the hook if I said it wrong. But they made these arranged marriages so the families could stay close, because that circle is unbreakable. And it has. Through the test of time, those circles were unbreakable. Now you got guys that you're finding somewhere. You're finding a court. Look how many guys almost got straightened out. They were cops, agents, etc. You're just finding people for money, or what they could do for you, or you think they could do for you. So, through the ranks right now, we're taking these guys in who have no heart for the life. They have zero. They don't believe in the life. They want to belong to a club. Gowanus Club. Go join the Gowanus if you want to belong to a club. But this is more serious nature, and it's being taken into the light, into the sunshine right now with guys like this. And if he's not told, don't come back, tri-state area, or whatever his punishment, I don't even know if he's got a punishment. I don't think so. I think he was arrested not too long ago, wasn't he? I read an article and Richie and Andrew and some of the other guys.
I think he was, yeah. Pretty sure, yeah.
So this guy was actually, obviously was still around. And I don't know, I couldn't get past those comments. He would have to move. He would tell, go find Sacagawea, go on the other side of Missouri.
Now, I know me and you disagree on this because we talk about it all the time. But me, as a complete guy, outsider that has no part of that life at all, when I read stuff like this, it always just makes me think how when someone gets jammed up, they're arrested, they're facing 1 billion years, they're, and when you think of these are my brothers, guys like this, who would the kind of person who would celebrate me being gunned down in front of my family. In my mind, it would make me say, I could see how a guy could be like, I know I can get out of here by noon and be home in time for dinner.
There's plenty of guys who become CIs when they get caught, absolutely. But that's not the reason why they do, is because their feelings are hurt by somebody else talking bad about somebody on tape, as we had talked about in the past. John Sr. getting caught on tape talking about people. It's not an excuse. You are who you are, and that's what you keep your beliefs in place. And to be taken down or you're spiritually, emotionally taken down by somebody else's comments in that life, in your belief, that's false narrative. That's an excuse to get out. Again, no excuses. So, again, you're an outsider.
Yeah, you're right.
And there's a lot of people like you that have talked to me over time that found out who I was, and they would come over to me, and I would listen to them because they're trying to be nice and they're trying to, make me feel better. But this is me. And the true believers do it. They feel like me. They really do. There's very good guys out there. There's guys in jail, like I said, for life. So believe in this life. But you can't take people like that. You just have to deal with people like that. There has to be something. If they're not going to kill anybody, which I don't advocate, I'm happy they're not killing anybody, but be more selective in the people you're bringing in. And when it is, if you're not going to kill somebody, again, we're going to talk about with that first shelf that everybody goes on, got so fucking heavy, you needed a second shelf and a third shelf to put people on. It's too heavy, that first shelf. I don't understand it. Let him move. Don't come back to New York. Chase him. Just don't let him come back. Don't come out anywhere in sight. Go away. You don't just.
Michael, thank you. Great discussion. Guys, leave your comments, leave feedback. As you see, we respond to everything. We do read everything. We appreciate the support that everyone has been showing. Please subscribe to the channel, share the channel with your friends. It costs nothing to subscribe. Just hit the subscribe button. So I got